Hello everyone and welcome to Newegg TV. My name is Paul. Today we have a special guest. This is JJ from ASUS. And how's it going, JJ?
Doing all right, boss. Thanks for asking.
All right, me too. I'm doing great. What we have here is a wireless N router that we have done a video on. It's available separately if you guys want to check it out. But when you're talking about a router and connecting to that router for internet connection, which is what most people use routers for, there's different ways to connect, and so we'll just run through them. So I have a smartphone right here. So JJ, if I was to use my smartphone to connect to your router, what type of connection would that be?
That's generally going to be an N-based connection. Most modern smartphones usually have an 802.11 connection, but the main restriction at the throughput for that is also going to be the amount of spatial streams or the antenna that it's going to support, which is that it's probably only going to be a 1x1 antenna design.
1x1. So if the highest throughput available for any production router right now is going to be 3x3, which would be 150 times 3,
Correct.
Which is where you get the 450 from. So if I have, for example, your notebook that I stole, what type of connection would your notebook be making?
That's actually pretty good. That one actually has an integrated 2x2 solution, so it supports dual band, both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, while your phone was only single band, 2.4 gigahertz, and this one's supporting up to 300 megabits.
Okay, so 300 megabits raw throughput. And let's say you wanted to make full use of your wireless N connection. Let's say you wanted the most amount of bandwidth possible. Maybe you're streaming high quality, high def video. Maybe you have a large file transfer to go through. What devices could we possibly find that might help us do that?
Two of those actually would be right here, and that's a perfect actually example in terms of kind of the mindset that you would want to have. There's going to be many types of installation environments, whether you're in a home, you're a small business, a small home office, where you're going to possibly require better range, better throughput, and overall better signal stability. And so a 3x3 type solution with a high quality performance amplified antenna is going to be able to enable that. So that's what we have here. We have two actually examples of that. One being on your side, which we have with the USB-N66, which is going to be a 3x3 antenna type solution. It uses our patented orthological antenna design, which gives it this interesting kind of domed and kind of triangle kind of look. And then on the other side here, we have our EA-N66. Now, these are both 3x3 solutions, 450 megabits, but they're focused at different types of markets with slightly different performance characteristics. Focusing in on here on the EA-N66, if I go ahead and turn this unit around, what you're actually going to see is an Ethernet port as opposed to, let's say, something like a USB port. So this is actually going to be more focused at a CE-oriented kind of connection. So let's say you may have like a console, so like a PS3, an Xbox, maybe you have a receiver which has Ethernet ports, a television, or maybe even a desktop or a notebook that you have in a fixed stationary position. In that type of situation, you might want to go ahead and have much higher performance, better range, and better throughput to have lower latency and overall a better experience for whether it's gaming, whether it's cloud-based services, whether it's streaming, or anything that's going to require, like you said, a higher level of performance.
So essentially a device which already has that Ethernet connection, but maybe you're not in a situation where you can directly connect to the router. You can't use a wired connection. You can connect it to this device. This will seamlessly create a wireless device at the end of your Ethernet connection, and then is there any drivers needed?
Yeah, it's actually entirely transparent. So the setup for this occurs entirely in terms of the GUI, the web interface. So you initially go ahead and connect it to your wireless network by connecting it to either, let's say, a notebook or a desktop. Once you've gone ahead and done that, you go ahead and just connect to your wireless access point, and all that information is permanently stored inside the firmware here. So even if you unplug this and move this to, let's say, a different device, so maybe you have it connected to your console, and then maybe you move this over in the nighttime to go ahead and have better connectivity in your bedroom on the second floor. With your notebook, you can go ahead and do that, and you don't ever have to install any drivers or reset any connections because it's all stored built into here. This unit also has some really awesome functionality in that it serves as more than just an Ethernet adapter. You have the ability to have this unit serve as an actual repeater as well as an access point. So it serves actually three functions. So a standard Ethernet adapter in terms of wirelessly connected, an access point, or you can then use it to extend the range of a high performance router. Maybe in a situation where you have a 2-story or 3-story home, or maybe you just need longer coverage, and to go ahead and be able to facilitate that coverage instead of getting maybe a more expensive another router, you can go ahead and get this unit and go ahead and extend that range at both either the 2.4 or the 5 gigahertz level. In terms of of real-world throughput, you're going to see here, of course, that we have some information stating to you some of the performance specifications. And while it's 450 megabits, the reality is that most of these units, under true real-world performance are still going to offer outstanding performance, but you're going to be closer to about 200 plus megabits performance. In ideal configurations, maybe somewhere between about 225 to about 250. But a really awesome unit, especially for units that are just users that are looking for that high performance connectivity where they have high throughput and high bit rate requirements.
All right, and then we also have the USB version over here on the left.
Correct, and this one's got a little bit different level of connectivity, so I think if you can go ahead and flip it around there, we can show them what they're looking at.
I see a switch.
Yeah, so instead of looking at your standard Ethernet port, you've got a USB connection. So that USB connection is pretty straightforward, just like a standard USB wireless adapter. You plug it in, install the driver, and you're good to go. Now this unit offering an amplified high-performance antenna design, we give you two modes of operation, and that comes from the fact that, of course, not all USB ports are created equal in terms of their power output. So in the basic level, it will work in that standard operating mode, still giving you a very high level of performance, but when the USB port can provide sufficient power, you can go ahead and switch it over into the high performance mode to get the highest level of performance. Now, since there aren't settings that are stored within this unit, because there is a driver that's required to make it operate correctly, we have taken extra work to try to provide you more flexibility and functionality, and it is multi-OS friendly, so it will work on Windows, Linux, and even OS X.
So this one's designed a bit more focused towards using with a computer? Yeah,
so a standard kind of usage environment, whether it's a desktop PC or whether it's going to be a notebook or some type of mobile USB-enabled PC platform, whereas on the EA-N66 side, that can really work with almost any device that requires Ethernet connectivity since everything is occurring inside the unit.
Since you are using it with a computer, there are some additional functions available through software?
Yes, so while the other unit in terms of the EA-N66 gives you functionality at being both an access point, a receiver, and an Ethernet adapter, this one is predominantly served as just a wireless adapter, but with the software you can also enable a software access point. But you do have to be in a Windows environment to be able to initialize that software access point functionality.
Alrighty.
So that overall kind of gives a little bit of perspective at some of the performance aspects and the benefits of considering a full high-performance 3x3 solution, which would really give you the best 802.11n wireless experience that you can currently get on the market.
Excellent. All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. Once again, these have been 3x3 wireless adapters, which are available from ASUS, the Ethernet version, as well as the USB version right here. If you'd like to see more tech videos, you can check out youtube.com/Newegg. For more videos with JJ, you can also check out youtube.com/ASUSROG. I'm Paul with Newegg TV. This has been JJ from ASUS. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time.